I do? I think I did, right? Veronica agrees. Okay, let's take it to the next step. It's your turn. We're going to do the we do now. Cal, remind us, what's our aim for today?
We want to add negative numbers using...
I'm going to pause you for a second, Cal. Let's make sure that we're all in perfect slant position right now. Mia. Aaliyah's on it. There you go, Cal. Okay, now finish for us, sorry.
We want to add negative numbers using a number line.
Okay, so for number one, actually before we do that, let's get a reminder. Aaliyah, when we add a positive number, which direction do we move?
To the right.
To the right. When we add a negative number, which direction do we move? Track Charlene.
To the left.
Say it one more time.
To the left.
Great. So, for number one, Veronica, 3 plus negative 7. I want you to walk us through this. What's our first step?
Well, we start at the 3.
Okay. So, Aaliyah, we're going to put a 3, we're going to put a dot right above the 3. So everyone go ahead and put a dot above the 3. Aaliyah, which direction do we move in? It's right there on your sheet if you can't see the board. Number one.
You move to the left.
How many spaces, Cal?
7 spaces.
So, on your papers, I want to see everyone, starting at number 3, make 7 jumps, as Cal so eloquently told us, to the left. 1, 2. Where do we end? Aaliyah? See Cal making his jumps.
Maybe 4.
One more time, Aaliyah.
I forgot.
What do you have on your paper?
I forgot the question.
So what do you have on your paper for number 1? You move 7 spaces to the left. Looks good to me. What do you have?
Negative 4.
-4. Cal, do you agree?
Yeah.
Good. So, now, number 2. Mia. Where do we start?
3.
Loud and clear so everyone can hear you.
3.
3. Cal, do you agree?
Yep.
Dude, interesting. Because I actually see here for number 2 that we're starting with -3.
I see.
So, we're actually going to start, everyone put the dot over -3. That's where we start. Right. That's right. We're adding -7, Mia. We're adding -7. Which direction will we move?
Left.
Aaliyah,
Yeah.
how many spaces will we move to the left?
7.
Go ahead, on your papers, each of you, make your 7 jumps to the left. I want to see the jumps. Don't cheat yourselves. Good job, Charlene. Okay, where'd you end up, Veronica?
-10.
-10. Interesting. You agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, let's see. We started at -3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jumps to the left. Good. Number 3 and 4, I want you to do independently, and I'm going to give you 40 seconds. Go. Make sure you show your jumps. Love that I'm seeing those jumps. Take another 10 seconds. Good. Now, pencils down. Charlie. So for number 4, I'm going to skip ahead. Cal, where did we start?
At -7.
Okay. Now, we started at -7, and we added a -3. So I'm going to put my dot over this -7. We added a -3. So I'm just going to finish it up. So we added 1, 2, 3. We're at -4. Who else got -4? Do you have a question?
Yeah. Wait, is that one for number 4?
That was for number 4. We were at -7 and we added a -3. So I moved 3 spaces.
That was fake, right?
Yes.
Wait, what was this?
He made the mistake on purpose. Yeah.
I'm confused.
I thought it was a good move. That could be my plus.
Oh, because that's what I did on my paper. Wrong. But I did it purposely wrong. But
I thought that might be something that or actually I'd seen on a couple, like Cal was moving in the wrong direction. He actually started at the wrong number on that one, so I figured I'd take a second to feign ignorance and see what I came back with.
Nice, nice.
I think the one thing about that is rather than saying, what did you say, like, is this, who got this?
Yeah.
That doesn't allow us to say that it's wrong. So
right.
say like, is this right? And give us a chance to say, no, it's not.
Okay.
Because like I started to raise my hand because I was going to say I think that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized if I raise my hand, I'm saying that it's right. So
Right.
Yeah.
I was starting to get to the.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of
yeah.
confused faces.
yeah, and that one then it would
But
have
yeah,
been,
but to your point, I think that would have probably gotten a quicker.
Or if you're dealing with 7th or 8th graders, late 7th grade or 8th grade, you can be more sarcastic and they'll catch on faster. But 6th graders don't generally hear the sarcasm.
Okay.
So you could ham it up a little bit more up front, and then you'd get a lot of people saying like, Mr. Morris, you're just not very smart at this. You're not very good. But he'd be in playing with your joke, so it would be appropriate.
Where do you come up with these like books? Do you have a book of them? Because they're really, really funny.
No.
I do.
I try to open with it. For some reason, it like makes me a little bit more comfortable. And then I ran out of like really cheesy jokes, so now it's just being.
Yeah.
We should have your top 10, just videotape them. I really recommend that if you're coming off as stiff in the gateway, open with something that you know is kind of cheesy, or open with a big smile and a laugh or something, because it really will settle you down. I've seen it work miracles on people who are really struggling with their tone being a little bit too formal or too robotic. Great job. Positive narration. Going for 100% at the beginning with slant. So you started off with a joke. Even before that, when we were in transition time, everybody was kind of lighthearted and kind of relaxed. So you noticed that even after you started with a joke, and you appropriately got everybody 100% back to slants. You did some nonverbals, you did positive narrations, you set some clear expectations, and you went on. And that was perfect. That happens all the time. If you're joking with the kids, they relax a little, and you're like, okay, but now I'm serious. You have to tell them that you're being serious, and that's the appropriate way to do it. Staying with Aaliyah when she was struggling for the answer, that was great. And I thought it was great to feign ignorance on that last part. I thought it was appropriate. They'd already seen enough examples that they should be able to catch you at some point. For the deltas, the small noise, this isn't, you have a passing score, so these are just the little things. Small noises, it took you a while to hear Veronica. I think it was like one minute. And then you did a stop and stare, or it looked like a stop and stare to me, but I think you needed to pause for longer for it to be effective. So she came back and did it again, and then you gave her the demerit. Right. So I think, in general, if you could hear the noise faster, or if you could stop and stare for a little bit longer, it would have been more effective. At one point, I think that Cal said, I didn't see that. He was talking about the negative.
Yeah.
and that was a call out.
Right.
But again, that's a difficult one because he's.
It was difficult because I was processing it, and it felt like he was like saying it to himself.
Yeah.
Low enough, but I guess if you say anything.
Right. So in the gateway, that has to be demerited. There's a lot of things that in the gateway, if you hear that small noise, I saw you do the stop and stare, and that's effective. But in the gateway, you'd need to do something like give her a demerit or verbally, or you'd have to do one of the other things. Stop and stare is something that you've been taught and that does work, but your stop and stare wasn't for long enough. So that's why I marked it down. And then a very, very small thing. You did a great job, by the way, of not repeating answers.
Yeah.
Great job. But one thing that I mentioned before that you're not, I don't think you've been working on is switching the question direction. So you'd be saying like, you always start with the person's name and then you ask the question. You could even practice this with people in your house where you say the question, then you pause to build excitement because which number do I start with? Mia. That kind of thing, and you could build some excitement that way as opposed to Mia. And then you're trying to get the question out as fast as you can because you don't want any downtime to happen, right? So you could actually slow it down, give some more thinking time to the whole class before you call on somebody. So your big takeaway is going to be radar, and this is, I guess I'm going to, yeah. I'm having a hard time differentiating between radar and reactive. I think it was, so you heard him say that, but you didn't know how to react to it. So that's a reactive, right? So I guess your big takeaway is going to be reactive. Giving demerits to people who call out, even if it's like that.
And Veronica's also.
Veronica's with the small noises. That was a little bit more gray because I did see the stop and stare, which is included in the list of things that you can do to address it, but the stare needed to be longer. And you eventually gave her a demerit, which covers that. So I have you 30s all the way down except the 20 in reactive and 40 in fluency and speech and voice and tone. So I lied about you passing this round. But this still might have been a passing round. Mm-hmm. I think it would have been questionable, and the coaches would have had to talk about it. Okay. Because it was very small and ambiguous, the noise and that comment. Okay. But I don't want to give you like bad feedback now, and then you come in next week and you're like, "Well, Fernando said I could do this." Yeah. All right, Aaliyah.